Guess where we're at? We're definitely not in my yard. We're at the Ritchie Bros Auctions. And this time we're not buying, we're actually selling. So we here at ET Transport have decided to sell our older power units. Our 2018, our 2019s, and our 2020s are all over here. Man, they look nice. Look at that. Whee! So how many trucks? 15 trucks to be exact. Our last video that we did honestly got over 450,000 views on all of our platforms. Why not take you guys on this journey from the beginning all the way to the end to see how much money am I gonna get for my assets. All right, so let's line up the contenders. We got 4 2019 Freightliner Cascadias. We have 4 2020 Freightliner Cascadias. We also have 2 2019 Volvos and an additional 2 2020 Volvos. Now, all of them are ranging anywhere between 1 million kilometers to about 1.250 million kilometers. Whether it's the Cascadias or the Volvos, they all have the exact same range in kilometers. So number one, we're gonna get a list of all the assets that are being sold, the 15 power units. We'll go over it together when I get back to the office. Number two, we're gonna go over the research phase. So realistically, what can we get here at the auctions? We gotta go into the past auctions. I did talk to 2 account reps and they gave me a range for each one of my units. And the last thing we're gonna do is we're actually gonna go after the auction and we're gonna see how much money did we actually get. Hopefully my goal is out of this to pick up anywhere between $350,000 to $400,000 from the sale. We'll see how well we did, but that is the ultimate goal, anywhere between $350,000 to $400,000. Let's get into the video. So one thing we need to keep in mind is that these power units, it's very hard to do the comparables for them. Why? Because these power units, we spec them a little bit differently, but we also have the APU units, and if you check the hours on any one of these babies, they're probably about 2,000 or 3,000 hours less than any comparable year over year. So if I take any other 2020 in the slot, or even a 2019, and I compare the hours on these ones versus the hours that anyone else has in here, our hours will probably show about 3, maybe even 4,000 hours less. Why is that? Because we have the anti-idling policy in our company. Every single one of our babies, whether it's the Freightliners or the Volvos, will have that machine over there. That machine, which is a battery pack APU unit. All right, so any one of our power units have this battery pack APU unit. For those of you that haven't gotten it yet, it saves you a fortune. And also your trucks are a lot more desirable after 5 or 6 years. But let's continue down this path. All right, so part one, make a list of the desired equipment that we're gonna be selling. So I decided to take all my 2019s and 2020 sleepers, and I decided to get rid of them. Now, where did this decision come from? Honestly, I think trucking it doesn't pay to have older equipment. Now, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna release this video after the auction, but it doesn't pay to have older equipment. There's a lot of downtime, there's a lot of service calls, there's a lot of minor breakdowns that are happening in the US or in Canada. Now, anything that happens in the US is literally ×2 or ×3 of the price. So you know what we've decided to, as a business or as a business decision, we've decided, okay, maybe we should get rid of about 10, 15 trucks. Maybe we'll hire a couple of more owner operators that are in charge of their own trucks, but all of the 2019s and 2020s, we decided to get rid at the auction. Now, also, on top of all that, let's not forget the cash injection that you're gonna get into the company. So by selling these 15, and I'm gonna go over the prices of what I wanna get for them, but by selling these 15 power units, I mean, even if we get, you know, on average $30,000 or $25,000 per unit. I mean, when you take 15 units, multiply that by 25,000, well, you're getting $375,000, a cash injection literally overnight. So that was our thought process behind it. We are going to sell our units here. We have our 2011 day cab that's really, really old. We're not expecting much for it. But the 2020 Volvos, 2019 Cascadias, 2020 Cascadias, we are definitely, you know, they're all lined up to sell in the next couple of days at the auction. So what do we have? We have, let's go over our equipment list. It is all posted over here. You can see this. It's about probably 15 power units. There's about 4 or 5 2019s. There's about 4 or 5 2020s, and then there is also the Volvos, the 2020 Volvos. Also, there's 5 of them. Plus, we have a couple of old day cabs that we decided to, you know what, they're just taking up space. Let's just get rid of them, you know, and keep everything above the 2021. So right now, after we make this move, we're gonna have only 2021s and newer in our fleet, okay? In reality, after we brought all the equipment to the yard, 2 trucks did not make it because they were on a trip and we weren't able to bring it before a certain date. So therefore, they're gonna have to be pushed off to the next auction. But in this auction here, we have 3 2019 Cascadias, 3 2020 Cascadias, and 3 2020 Volvos. So we have 3 sets of 3s. We do have a couple of day cabs, but we're not going to talk about those day cabs. Really, we just wanted to get it off of our lot. We just wanted to sell it. We had 2 2017s that really we kind of were using them as day cabs. We're like, forget about it. Let's push them out. And we had 1 2016 Volvo that was getting definitely old and we wanted to get rid of it. So we just wanted to keep anything that's newer than 2020. Now, the research phase, what's great about the Ritchie Brothers auctions is we had 2 different account reps price it out for us. So I have the prices over here of what they promised us that we were gonna get. Now, they didn't give us the exact number. They gave us a range, a high and a low. And then based on those ranges, you would decide, okay, are you happy with it or are you not happy with it? So the range that they gave us for the 2019 Cascadias was anywhere between $22,000 to $26,000 for the 2019 Cascadias. The range that they gave us for the 2020 Cascadias was $32,000 to $35,000. That was the range they gave us for the 2020 Cascadias. And for the 2020 Volvos, the range that they gave us was between $35,000 to $40,000 for these Volvos. Now, I wasn't too happy about the numbers that they gave me, but what I did like was the fact that they were realistic. Okay, they didn't offer me the stars and the moon. I hope to hit dead center between all 3 of these trucks. So if I get the middle range between their estimate of the high and the low, I would be happy. Why? Because these trucks all have about 1.1 to 1.2 million kilometers. That's about 700,000 miles. There is an advantage to giving it to the Ritchie Brothers auctions. You do end up just giving them the trucks, they sell it. There is no credit checks for the buyers. Like on my end, I don't have to wait for financing. It's literally you get a check. You get paid a lump sum once it's done. Yes, they have their week or 2 week hold, but that's irrelevant, but you actually get the check once it's sold. So in order to see the realistic number of what I am expecting, so I'm gonna take all their ranges, I'm gonna put it dead center, and I'm gonna talk about the number that I'm expecting for them for these 9 trucks, but make sure you're here to the end of the video so you can see the actual numbers that I got. Now, they know this is going on camera, so if I'm not getting what I want, I will blast them. So I better get what I want for these trucks. So for the 3, we have 22,000 and we have 26,000. The middle range for that divided by 2 would be 24,000 is what I'm expecting for my 2019s. For my 2020 Cascadias, we have 32 plus 35 equals this divided by 2. Our middle range would be 33.5 thousand. And then for our 2020 Volvos, they told us 35 and 40 divided by 2, which equals to 37,500. All right, so we're expecting 3 of this, 3 of this, and 3 of that. So 24,000 times 3. So we're expecting 72,000 for this. 33,500 times 3. We're expecting 100,000 for this, and 37,500 times 3. And we're expecting 112,000 for this. So 72,000 plus 100,000 plus 112,000 is equal to $284,000. Okay, so this is what I am expecting. Not their high, not their low, dead center of what they had promised me that I was gonna get, or at least they didn't promise, they gave me a range of what I can get. So if I get 284,000, I consider myself a happy camper. They didn't lie to me. I got rid of my old equipment and I will get a cash injection into a company of $284,000. And that concludes our research phase, and we're gonna go into the results tomorrow after all these units are sold. We are about 1 hour away from the auction being closed. So there are already registered bids. I want to go over it with you. So again, we have the three 2020 Volvos. I gotta say, I'm a little bit scared. There's a registered bid right now at $26,000. This is very low, but it could mean that a lot of the bids are just coming in the last hour of the auction. So we have here 26,000 on our 2020. We have another 17,000 on our 2020. We have a third one, 2020 Volvo, another $20,000 bid. The good news is that what you can see over here that there's 83 bids. So there are people that are interested in it. If I go back to the second Volvo, there's 73 bids. So the good news is that there are bids and people are interested in these trucks. Now the Cascadias, not doing well at all. So $11,000 for the 2020 Cascadias, another $14,500 for a 2020 Cascadia. We have and another 2020 Cascadia. Currently the bid is sitting at $15,500. So we got three of those, and now we have the 2019s. You can see here $7,500 bid, very low. Another $7,750 bid, very low, and a third one here at $9,500, extremely low. And then we have the 2017 Cascadia. Currently the bid is at $5,000. We have another day cab that we really just wanted to get rid of, $5,500, and it says that it is sold. So we got our first Cascadia sold at $5,500. It's that day cab. We have another 2017 Cascadia. Currently the bid is at $3,000. Then you have our 2016 Volvo. Currently the bid is at $6,000. And here is another day cab, currently sold at $5,500. We have two Cascadias that sold. Is this in line with the range that they gave us? Let's have a look. The two Cascadias that were sold, the day cabs, one of them was 2011, the other was 2013. So they gave us a range of between $5,000 to $8,000. We sold both of them at $5,500. Are we happy with that sell? Yes, I'm happy with that sell, but I can't wait to see the Volvos and the Cascadias. That's really what this auction is about. Will I be getting my $284,000? Okay, that's the question we're going to be answering in about an hour, so stay tuned. The pressure is on. All right, we got here our 2020 Cascadias, all of them. So every time somebody bids, it extends the auction by 2 minutes, okay? So you can see here right now, this truck here, a 2020 Cascadia, there's a $31,000 bid. We have another one, $31,000 bid, and another one that has a $27,000 bid. Now, this here, there's 1 minute and 43 seconds left. So basically, I am praying that over the next 1 minute and 47 seconds, that somebody's gonna bid on one of these trucks, and if somebody does bid, then it'll extend the time by another 2 minutes. Okay, so here we are. You can see here there's only 1 minute and 28 seconds left. So I just need somebody to bid on one of these trucks, and then it extends the time for 2 minutes. So let's do this together. Let's hopefully cross our fingers and see. So again, we have 31, 31, and 27. Okay, they're all identical. They have the identical kilometers, 1.1, 1.1, and 1.1. All of them have 1.1 million kilometers. Let's look a little bit at what has sold. So my Volvos have already sold. A little disappointed, but so one unit sold for $38,000, another one sold for $33,000, and I had another one that sold for $31,000. So these are our Volvos, our 2020s. Now I was expecting a little bit more, but we're gonna do a recap at the end of this once all of them are sold. But for now, let's go back to those Cascadias. We are crossing our finger. Oh, we did get the bid. So you can see here on the right, it was 27,000, now it's 30. Okay, so on the right hand truck, you can see that there's $30,000, 31,000, 31,000. We have another 1 minute and 56 seconds to go. Hopefully somebody's gonna put another bid and it'll extend the time a little bit more. Am I happy with this? I don't know, you'll have to wait for the recap, but hopefully somebody's gonna bid. I want you guys to see live how somebody bids on one of the units and how it gets extended. If I can get them to 35,000, 36,000, I'd be a very happy camper. Do I think that that's realistic in this right now? Probably not, but who knows? Maybe I'll be surprised. Somebody did extend the time, which means that there is a bid on one of them. So we're just gonna see. Sometimes it takes maybe a little bit of time to refresh itself. Whew, this is nerve-wracking. Clock winds down and my heart is pacing. Hopeful that we're gonna make another $1,000 somewhere here. Now my heart has been pacing since these numbers were all 15,000, and now I think I'm a little bit calmer that I see the 30s on every single one of these trucks. I am, happier. 1 minute left on these units. 2020 Cascadias, 1.1 million kilometers. That's about 660,000 miles on these trucks. 31,000 Canadian is approximately 22,000, maybe $23,000 US for my American fans. So it looks like there's no more bidders, which means that this is going to wind down this clock. 24 seconds left before something is going to be considered sold. 31, 31, and 30. That's really what we have. 8 seconds left. Oh, and the time got extended again. So we did get a bid over here. You can see that we got $32,000 on this truck right here. This one is 30, 32, and 31. So the 2 minutes got extended again. Okay, so while we're doing this, let's have a look at our 2019s that are being sold. So this one is currently at 19,500. This one is currently at 23,000, and this one here is at 20,500. So we have 3 2019s, but again, we're gonna go back to our 2020s. We have 31,000, 32,000, and 30,000. Now we have 1 minute left again. So when somebody places that bid, that 2 minutes starts again, and hopefully somebody's gonna place another bid somewhere. 32,000 is not a bad deal for whoever's buying it. These are well-maintained power units with battery pack APU units on all of them. It would be nice to see a couple of more $1,000 somewhere here. Come on, somebody press that button. Press it. What's another $1,000? Oh, there we go. We just got another $1,000, guys. So 33,000 on this middle truck over here. So that extends again the 2 minutes. Let's quickly have a look at our 2019s. Wow, this thing can go on all day, which is good. 2019s, look at what we have. 21,500. We have another one that's $26,000 and another one that's $19,500. So I'm expecting to have a lot more bids on the 19s because there's too much of a range, which is what I saw with these 2020s, and then slowly it kind of balanced itself out. So boom, we got another 2 bids here on the left one, so 33,000, 33,000, 31,000. So I am expecting probably another couple of bids over there on the right hand side. So the 2020 Cascadias, we got 33, 33, and 31. So good news, we're finally seeing 33s. Are people willing to pay? These trucks probably retail will go anywhere about 45, 44, 45, maybe even $47,000. 11 seconds left. 33,000, 33,000, 31,000 is what we have right now for bids. That's it, they sold. All 3 of them sold. So you can see here they turned into sold. 33, 33, and $31,000 is what we got for our 2020 Cascadias. Now let's get into our 2019s. We'll post them over here. Oh, one of them already sold. 2019 sold for 26,000. 2019 sold for 21,500. And 2019 sold for 19,500. Wow, those ranges are all over the place. So really big difference between all of them. Must have been the tires, which I specifically told them to make sure that there's good tires on it, but that's what we got. So the results are in from the Ritchie Brothers auctions, and I can't wait to share them with you guys. So over here, you can see these are all my lots that sold literally September 10th. So $38,000 is what I got for my first Volvo. The second 2020 Volvo, I got $33,000, plus I got $31,000 for the third one. So 33, 38, and 31. The average of these 3 Volvos are $34,000. Okay. Now, what did our account reps promise us for our 3 Volvos? They promised us, on average, the range would have been between $35,000 and $40,000. So, did they target their range? I thought I was going to get $37,000 for each one. I ended up getting $34,000 for each one. Was it a success? Yes, I could say it was somewhat of a success. Let's move on to our 2019 Cascadias, okay? Now remember, they promised me for the 2019s, they promised me anywhere between $22,000 to $26,000. I took the average to be $24,000, and now we'll see what they actually sold for. So the 2019 Cascadia, we had 3 of them. So we had, here's our first one, sold for $23,500. Our second one sold for $21,500, and our third one sold for $19,500. $22,500. All right, what did they promise me? They promised me on average of $24,000. My average, it looks like, is less. $21,500 per unit, and they promised me the average of $24,000 per unit. Okay, am I disappointed with this one? Yes, I am a little disappointed with this one. I thought they were gonna get a little bit better results. Now let's go into the 2020 Cascadias. What did they promise me? They promised me on average of $33,500 for these Cascadias. We have one 2020 Cascadia right here, sold for $33,000, dead on the money. The second one, 2020 Cascadia, sold for $33,000. And the third Cascadia, 2020, sold for $31,000, $32,500 for each. And they promised me $33,500 was the average. So am I happy with the 2020s? Absolutely, they were dead on. They were about $1,000 off. In closing, okay, how much money did we pick up from these 9 units? Well, we ended up getting a total of $264,000 from these 9 units. Now, originally when I did this video, we had a lot more units that were supposed to go, but some of them didn't make it back in time. For those of you that are interested in the older units, how much they got, so our 2016 Volvo got $17,000. Our 2011 day cab got $5,500. Our 2000 and another 2017 Freightliner Cascadia got $9,250. And then we had another 2017 Cascadia went for $14,000. Okay, so in total, we did have 15 units. But the only ones that I took part in this video were 9 of the highway tractors. We did end up getting $264,000. So what did I learn from my experience of selling trucks at the Ritchie Bros Auctions? Well, number one is you need to try to always sell the equipment yourself before you take this step. So I did try to sell this equipment myself, and the problem that I was running into was the lower buyer demand. The second biggest problem that I was running into was the finance barrier. So people did come to try and buy the equipment, but they couldn't get the financing for the $40,000 or $45,000 for the equipment. The next problem that I had was with showing the equipment, okay? So a lot of buyers want to come in the evenings, want to come in the weekends, and showing the equipment to the buyers was hard because we are dealing with truck drivers. So for some of you out there that are having the same problems that I was, if you do need to use my lot on Highway 50 and Major Mackenzie here in the Greater Toronto area, it's a free service to all of you out there that are suffering the same way that I'm suffering. All you got to do, you can use my security to show your equipment that you're trying to sell, and you're running into that same problem about showing your equipment. You're more than welcome to bring your equipment to my lot. Our security guard that is on site most of the time is going to show your equipment as you have buyers. It'll help you guys out a lot. At least when it comes to buyers viewing your equipment, you won't have that struggle. You'll still need to negotiate with them. Again, like I said, it's a free service out there. All you got to do is pay for that parking spot, and then our security guard, every time you have customers, will show your equipment. All you have to do is bring them to our lot. If we work together, again, if we have a lot that has a lot of trailers, a lot of trucks, then as more and more people come to the lot to view equipment, they'll be able to see your equipment. Also, they'll be able to see somebody else's equipment. So the more people we bring in there, the chances of you selling your equipment would probably get a little bit better. So that's what I've learned from this auction. Again, you got to try to sell it yourself. If you cannot sell it yourself, then take it over to the Ritchie Bros Auctions or to any other auction out there. I think it is a great way to pick up cash in a very, very short period of time. You sell it today, you get your cash literally within 7 days. I really hope you enjoyed the entire process of selling equipment at the Ritchie Bros Auctions. I'm Ronan, and I'll catch you in my next one. And please, guys, don't forget to share the video.